Hello, and welcome back to another episode for the Project Seed Money podcast. My name is Sharissa Bradley, and I am so excited to be here today, joined with author Lynda Williams. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me today. It's my pleasure.
Oh, it's my pleasure too. I'm so glad you're here. I just want to jump right in and ask, have you always wanted to be an author?
From the time I was 8 years old, yes.
Wow. So then what was the catalyst from kind of always knowing to then having published works in the world?
Okay, so I got a byline really young, and I kind of fell backwards into it. I used to write letters to the editor of the local newspaper. So in high school, I ended up having this job as a newspaper correspondent, a stringer, they called us back then. And yeah, I got to have a byline and get paid while my friends were babysitting and mowing lawns. So I just thought that the book would come easily. That would be like the next thing. And that's not how it happened at all. Sometimes life gets busy, and I think I lost some faith in my voice during my 20s, and I had to step away from writing as a goal for myself and then come back to it.
So I wonder, what was your journey to publishing like then? Did you write the story and then self-publish, or what route did you take?
I wanted to be traditionally published just to prove that I could do it, but also I knew that self-publishing is a business as well as art and craft and trade of writing. So I knew at that point, I was almost 40. I'm not a business person. I'm not excited about designing this book, about finding a cover for it, about formatting it, and then doing all the selling by myself. I'm not a working type of person. So I did know that I was suited to be traditionally published if I could make that dream come true.
Were you able to?
Yes, I was. And I will say, I think the mentorship program at Humber Polytechnic was a big stepping stone
Okay.
towards that. Yeah.
Okay. So then did you go through the process of querying and getting an agent and then having that agent sell the book?
No, I didn't end up pursuing an agent for a very specific reason. And through the program at Humber, I was able to get like 5 pages and a query reviewed by an agent. And they came back to me and they didn't actually say anything about the pages. So I figured they can't be terrible, right? But the query stated that the manuscript was 40,000 words, which is quite short for a collection of stories. But if you read my work and you see what I'm doing with compression, and you notice the number of stories in the collection was already over a dozen, it was complete thematically. I felt strongly that this was a book that wasn't half finished and that didn't need to be 20,000 words longer. And the agent's recommendation was don't submit it until you have 60,000 words. And I was just like, no, I'm not writing half again. This is the book I want to sell. It is therefore a small press book. I am going to be the person pitching it, and that's what I did.
Wow. Absolutely incredible and completely unique to this point. I think I've done like almost 70 interviews now, and that has not been the experience so far. So what an incredible, unique experience to be able to share. I wonder, while you were going through the process of writing or even that query process, I wonder if you faced any self-doubt.
Oh, absolutely. In terms of the writing, the stories span 15 years. So the earliest one, which is actually the first one in the book, goes back to 2008. And then there was a point in, I don't know, my early 30s where I got very discouraged with the amount of rejection I was getting. I just wasn't making any headway, and I stopped submitting. And there was a period of 7 years where I didn't write a single short story. Yeah. And then the global pandemic happened, and I was doom scrolling my way through it. And I noticed a lot of people were posting that they were taking their extra time to write and that they were also getting their work published. And I was envious in the best way possible. It made me think, well, why aren't you doing this, right? This is a gift, use it. And that's when I signed up for the program at Humber, and the rest is history.
Oh, that's amazing. So obviously the program is you're crediting it multiple times. So obviously that had so much in it and a lot of tools in it. But I wonder if you could share any tools that you will carry with you to help continue to battle that type of self-doubt in the future.
Absolutely. I had to reframe how I looked at rejection because, and part of it was I had started submitting um, in the mid 90s. I started out as a poet and I was submitting to literary journals in 96, 97. And, you did it through mail. And at that point, simultaneous submissions were really frowned upon because it was a whole different system. It wasn't submittable and it wasn't as fast, right? It was snail mail. You sent the envelope and they would send the response handwritten back to you, like they were investing time in this. So, you weren't promiscuous about your submissions, right? And I had to transition to the idea of if you're sending a story out and you send it one place and you wait for 6 months and then you're crushed for another month because they said no, you're not going to make this happen. That those days are long gone, right? So I had to reframe the idea that you're going to get a lot of rejections. It's going to be like a batting average thing. So if you can move the needle on the number of rejections you get, you will also move the needle on the number of acceptances.
I love that so much. It reminds me of this meme that's going around that's like, if you knew you only had to fail 30 more times to succeed, how quickly would you want to get those 30 failures out of the way?
Right? You just roll up your sleeves and do it then.
Absolutely, you gotta get it done. So I wonder if once you then got to the point where your book is now in the world, I wonder if you faced any feeling of vulnerability.
I think I was more apprehensive in the phase where it was between, like I'd signed, and it was between being in the world and in limbo,
Mhm.
because I was thinking a lot, like, how will this be received? And by the time it actually happened, because I had 2.5 years between the time when I signed my contract and when it came out, I had time to make peace with actually, it's going to be out of your control. It is like the meaning making process is a team sport between writer and reader. So I've done my portion by the time the book is in your hands. And what readers will take from it is beyond me. And I am willing to be vulnerable for the sake of somebody seeing themselves in that work, right?
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And what a unique perspective on that as well, because we often see in the self-publishing world that it's very fast-paced. So we don't get that timeline. So to sit with it for 2.5 years, I'm guessing there was some time to make peace with it being in the world. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's time to doubt and then you reconcile. And I would say the way out of it is to find your next project.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm, I love that. I love that. So that's kind of perfect time for me to ask you, where can everybody find you and your book?
Okay. So I have a website. It's www.lindawilliams.ca in Canada, just so you know, not .com. And then you can find the book on Chapters Indigo, Amazon.com or .ca, Barnes& and Noble in the States, and local independents here in Canada, and through my publisher, GuernicaEditions.com.
That is amazing. Are you on any social media platforms?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Lynda Williams _ author, and then I'm on Facebook as Lynda Williams as well.
Perfect. And I will make sure to have all those links easily accessible for our listeners. But I do just have one last question, and that's if you have any advice for my listeners, they're female authors, they're on the fence, they're first time authors, but they're not quite ready to get their works into the world. And I just wonder if you can encourage them to just keep going on their journey.
Absolutely. My advice would be to find your community. It all becomes more bearable when you have a solid group of people. And it doesn't have to be large, but a group of people that you're going through these things with. So maybe today you're bummed because you got a rejection, but you get to celebrate because somebody else got an acceptance. And even what you start to find is as your successes happen, there are unexpected moments within the success that you might be surprised about and struggle with too. And you need people who understand that success can be lonely as well as failure. So find those people early on, find people who will offer you feedback, and take the time to offer your fellow writers feedback, because you're learning how to read and revise your own work through that feedback.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your insight and thank you for sharing a little tiny piece of your story with us today. I am so grateful. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining me on another episode for Project Seed Money. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And I will see you with another interview next week. Bye.